I'd be curious to know, even going back to just putting yourself out there as a copywriter and choosing that as a career, what were some of the things that you had mentally that made you say like, hey, no, this is going to be worth it. I should take that risk, as opposed to just going back and saying like, nope, obnoxious people, annoying, I'm not going to do it. I'll just go back to my comfort zone.
Yeah. So one thing I just have to say before we dig into that, though, is that I really love selling with love. Like, I love the title so much because I know it reaches my people. Like, my people are the ones who are resistant to this stuff. So I wanted to make sure to say that. But yeah, so pushing through this is also why I wrote my book, because the people who are the loudest, I've also had a hard time resonating with. You know, you'll read some of these people's books and they're like, always had a mission, always knew what they wanted to do. You know, they had like this drive for kind of something greater. And quite frankly, my story was about just eliminating things that weren't serving me, kind of like crawling out of some dark places, just trying to make my life a little bit better and something that I actually enjoyed. Like, so, you know, when I tell my story, I focus on like all the things I was just trying to get rid of. Like, I just didn't want a 9 to 5. I didn't want to sit under fluorescent lights. I didn't want to ask permission anymore, rather than like, oh, I'm going to go make $1 million this year. Like, that's never been my focus or my goal. It's like always looking at my life and like, how can I make it a little bit better? And that's very different, I think. And so that's another thing that I think my students really resonate with and is kind of what's guided my decisions. And so I really hope that people know that that's a possibility. Like, it doesn't have to be some big ambitious thing. You actually might just be trying to make your life suck a little less. Like, maybe you just don't want to work for a shitty boss. That's a good enough reason to get started, quite frankly, in my opinion. Maybe you just want to have some more time. A big part of my communities are women, very commonly, who just have a baby and they want to spend more time with their kids. And they're just like, holy crap. And a lot of them are like teachers, nurses. And they just are like, oh no, I have to go back to work now. Like, I don't want to go back to work. And I just want everyone to know that, like, you kind of don't. Like, there's so many opportunities and so many ways to make money. Like, you can sell feet pics. Like, you don't have to go to, like, I mean, there's just so many ridiculous ways in this world that, like, I just really kind of think the 9 to 5, unless you want to be like a lawyer or a doctor and that's your passion, is kind of dead and doesn't need to be your focus. So for me, it's been chipping away and making my life just a little bit better every day, which is not sexy. It's not the big, like, grandiose, like, I'm going for changing 1 billion lives. I don't know.
Oh my God, you just said the line I was about to refer to, because, okay, I have so much love for Mindvalley, and I don't know if you're familiar with Mindvalley, but their online education platform, a lot of my listeners here, obviously you guys maybe have come from that platform, since this was a Mindvalley published podcast before. And God, I look at their founder, Vishen Lakhiani, and I have so much admiration for that guy, because he does think, I want to impact 1 billion people, and he's got that drive. And there's this thing that happens for a lot of us that are ex-Mindvalley employees, where we kind of have this like feeling of not being enough after leaving an organization that's driven by such a big goal. And then we start being like, hey, I want to live maybe an independent, location lifestyle. I want to generate a few 6-figure incomes, be comfortable, raise a family. And it's almost like you've been exposed to such a big intensity that then you're like, oh my God, am I not doing enough? And then any goal you've set after that exposure is almost always going to lead to some sort of mental disappointment that it's not enough. And then when I compare that to the general industry that's saying you should be trying to impact 1 million lives, you should be doing something grandiose, you should be looking to make those millions of dollars, it almost seems like it's doing a reverse effect of causing more people to being like, oh, okay, that requires such a big level of commitment that I've actually not felt like I have enough to just beat the inertia. And as you've said, a lot of these people that have amazing skills, that could be leaving the 9 to 5, that could be developing their skills as a copywriter, are not even exploring the possibility because you're blocked by this. And so it's so refreshing to hear this story. And I think that enables so many more people, because even copywriting, like, I need to be a 6-figure copywriter, 8-figure copywriter
I
immediately
know.
when I start. And I'd be curious to know about the initial journey when somebody develops the skill. What does that usually look like for someone who might want to go down that path?
Yeah, a couple of things to say on that is that I have fallen into that so many times. I'm like, I want to hit 10 million in my business. I want to hit, like, I get sucked into it. And I always have a moment that kind of brings me back to just really re-examining my why. Like, my why is to help as many people as possible. Probably not going to be a billion. I'm really okay with that. I actually prefer to go like deep rather than wide. And it's also to like have a like like if I did like a day in a life of a copywriter or whatever, and it was so funny. People were like, this is like pretty simple and boring. Cause it was just like, I cooked a meal. I got to cook a meal. Did it during my like lunch break. I worked out. I went to pole dancing class. I went sailing. I mean, I have a lot of hobbies, so there's that. And now that I have 2 babies, I actually have a 9-week-old. It looks like I get to be home with them and like work when I want to work. And right now I'm coming up on the end of my maternity leave, and I was looking at my husband yesterday and I was like, I don't know that I want to fully go back to work when I've like planned to go back to work. And he was like, you don't have to. And so for me, it's like so much more about that. And it's so easy. And I see it happening in my communities on both sides, the people creating digital products and the copywriters, where they get so hung up on these goals. And it's a big part of our conversation. In fact, I've even been guilty of kind of perpetuating it, because I'll highlight students in the community who hit their first 10K month, who hit their first 20K month. And I realized that actually, creates this environment where people think like that's the ultimate goal, and they get disconnected from their why. And so I've kind of circled back to highlighting people who are hitting their goals, which was like, one woman wanted to open a nonprofit for saving animals. One woman wanted to be able to care for her elderly mom. So many people wanted to take their kids on like road trips. There's a big RV like boom. That was a lot of the people in my community. But the thing is that is more nuanced. And again, it's also like when you see copy and on the internet, especially like ads, I feel like those stand out the most. Most people are focusing on how much money you can make. And I do it too, because it's easy. It's easy, it's fast, it like gets to the point, but it subconsciously communicates your brand or personal values through that messaging. And that's what you show people is important to you through whatever it is you're saying in your copy. And so it's a little trickier, I think, to like really focus on the values, but I actually think it makes for better copy, because it just means more storytelling, more, painting imagery around. Like a piece of copy that has really resonated with people in my programs is I always talk about when I remember through my copywriting how I finally would like order a sandwich or something, and I would be like, put the avocado on the sandwich, add that extra like it was like $1 back then. Now it's like $3 to add avocado to your sandwich now. And that was like a big deal, for me because I was so broke. I was like in debt. And so many people just like bring that story up over and over again, because they're like, yeah, I just want to put avocado on my sandwich. And also, sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but it's like, it's just a testament to where I think a lot of people are. Like a lot of people in today's world really just want a good quality of life for their family. Like they're like, I don't really want to change a million lives. I'm tired. I just want to like get a good night's sleep and like not be stressed about my bills. And I think those people are kind of forgotten, honestly, in a lot of the like online education space and marketing and things like that. So I don't know. Those are my people.
Thank you so much for listening to the Selling with Love podcast. We have some previous episodes you can tune into right here. And if you prefer the short form content where you get to the point in under 10 minutes, we do have a ton of clips from our best episodes that are being shared on this channel as well. So pick which one supports you the most. And of course, thank you for liking, subscribing, and of course, selling with love.